was your opinion on Excel this year compared to last? Yeah, I think it's the same. I don't think like last year I was literally constant flipping my mind with how with it being effective versus it not. In reality, I believe it was never effective, and that trend still applies to this year. Let's see what we got here. So I finally have a build I think I can solidify here when it comes to just, you know, the defense and playing teal, playing defense and sixes for this build. I mean, I think it's pretty solid. I don't think I need anything else. 80 body check-in. Didn't really have too much of a problem. Passing didn't have a problem. Except maybe the like strength of the pass wasn't that good. Well, that's what the sauce is for, you know, like, you know what I mean? Playmaker, I'm having a tough time even really wanting to use a playmaker. Might just switch this and not use it. I just don't see myself, like, if I was to play center right now, I would not use the playmaker. I just don't think I want it. The reason I used playmaker last year was for that two-way style that's fast, right? Like, you would use, I guess, a power forward last year if you want to be big and stuff like that. I didn't see a use for the two-way forward last year, but this year I definitely do. But like in terms of playmaker, it was like a substitute. It was like the opposite of the power forward in terms of what you were trying to achieve. It was the same deal, right? You would use center for both, but then this if you want to play big, this if you want to play fast and quick and something like that, you know, but still be that defensive centerman. I just don't see a reason to use this build now, you know. I'm not really seeing the use for it. I mean, it's definitely a good use. Yeah, you can still play defense here, and power forward being 6'5", 234. This is for the size of what you really wanted to achieve here. So unstoppable force again is just a god tier ability, and it works very well with this build. Being bigger, being stronger, way more bulkier, you know, that's just the whole thing here. I'm not gonna use big rig, so I use 1T. So this is stronger, obviously, than the two-way forward that I have, right? But here's the deal: this is slower. You know, and it's also 6'5", 230. Like, it's built for that. But you see how I have, like, the same balance as the two-way forward. I had 85 balance. 86, I think. No, I have 85. The agility is only one off, right? But slower. I mean, it's just... In general, it's just a slower build. But it is stronger, you know? So it's like... You know, do you really need... Bang. Yeah. I think that's it. Pretty sure that's the build. Wow, this is actually probably the build here. Because, like, in reality, I mean, you're going to throw a hit, you know. You're going to poke check every now and then. You're going to potentially defend cross crease. You could do that with the defensive awareness. Being at 80. And now here, puck on a string. Nah, yeah, that's probably going to be it, you know. Like, let's be real here. Close quarters, elite edges, 1T. Your typical sniper build that you would have. I'm gonna go with close quarters. I mean, I want close quarters to be the zone ability here. I don't want it to be 1T. If I want to make a change, I will. I just want to see how the effectiveness of a 1T is without it having to be a zone ability. If you don't need it, then don't use. Probably even go. I mean, you might as well go the fastest at 5. Oh, I lose something. What do I lose? Gold 1T just isn't worth it. I mean, the thing is, it just depends, right? Because if you're getting, if you are setting it up quite often, like that's your main way of scoring, then I would say, yeah, put it on. You know. Because that's like your main look. If that's what you're always looking in, the team that I play with, the team that I'm starting to roll with a lot in threes, that's like their main look, right? So having the gold 1T is like something that they want to have on. If you're more into cut plays, if you're more into, you know, just generally trying to beat the player and not really set up a 1T so much, then having it as a superstar is probably the best thing. And then having close quarters, like have something your main look, whatever you're trying to score, your main look is what you want it to be a zone. to really understand about the sniper is like, you're a sniper, so what is your main look? Offense. Like, what is your main concern is offense, and you really need to excel offensively. So offensive awareness being really high is like more of what you're looking for. That's why I put on shooting threat, because I wanted to up the offensive awareness to be really god tier, so that you're getting everything. I think I already did this, right? Yeah. So this is good in terms of offense and defense. Like, this is the true centerman build, I think. There's nothing that beats it, you know? You can play offense and defense. You can play this in 3s, 6s. It don't really matter. You can hang on to the puck. You can get the puck in the slot and all that kind of stuff. You can get the puck in the offensive zone. And you can move without losing it. It's your choice whether you want elite edges or something else. But I think Unstoppable Force... Well, I guess whichever one you want. Like, you can keep elite edges, but then maybe get rid of Unstoppable Force. Or keep Unstoppable Force and get rid of elite edges. Depends on what you want. I don't think there's a downside to changing one of them, you know. I just really want to test this out. I think it's on par with the power forward, right? But not quite as strong, but it is faster. So it's like a weakened version, but quicker version of it, I guess. In terms of speed, it's only but +3. It's really the only thing. But it can play both ways. Power forward really can't. This I could probably change, because this is that 90. Well, this is that 90 build. I mean, so this is like a faster version of the build, to be honest. Lose that, gain here. Yeah, that's what you want to have on. So this is a faster version of the build. I mean, useful. If you're playing against like smaller guys, use this. If you're playing against bigger guys, use the other build, I guess. I don't know. Depends on your playstyle. If you like going with big, go with this build. If you like it, you know. Now the defensive defenseman build, I like this. This is the same style as the power forward that's big. 6'5", 234. Truculence, Unstoppable Force, and stick them up. Oh, that's just to help you play defense, honestly, but I'm going to get rid of that. This build is for size, right? You're not looking to make the quick moves. I've got Truculence with 92 body checking. I mean, you're looking to put people into the 15th row if you can. Stick checking and defensive awareness is pretty high as well. Offensive awareness is 85. Wow, this is actually a pretty good build. This is your best lockdown build if you're really looking for it. And then obviously, you can even switch to this, make this stuff better. You know, it depends on what you want, right? But 92, like, yeah. Now, this is my offensive puck moving defenseman. So if I'm playing wing, I would use this. But I'm going to make a switch. Only reason 1T was on, or puck and a string was on, was because I didn't have 1T. So because what makes the puck moving very good is because you have that defensive capability. Like if you don't want to be the sniper, you would use this. Because sniper and wing, like sniper and puck moving, they kind of go hand in hand with being like a winger class. I feel like I don't like to use sniper at center. I just don't think it belongs there. Considering you compare it to like the playmaker, the power forward, and the two-way forward, it just doesn't compete at all with what it's trying to set out. You don't play center and play sniper because you're trying to score goals. You do that if you want to play winger, you know. But since the puck moving defenseman lacks the face-off, you can't put this at center itself either. So you have to play this at wing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. that's it. You don't need anything else. This is definitely an elite combo, I feel like, with a lot of these builds. Elite edges, zone, close quarters 1T, and if you don't have the zone for something, you put a zone on for something else, like close quarters or whatever you want, right? Playing sniper, and then you still have that same combo. It's very effective. I don't need anything else, to be honest. I could put on Grinder, right? The only benefit for Grinder is putting on Big Tipper, but do you really need that? No. So I feel like the Grinder class is useless this year unless they nerf the deflections without it being really high. Because the thing is, I'm getting these tips. You saw tonight, I mean, all these tips that we were getting. We don't need big tip. We don't need big tipper to do it. But do you notice tips in areas where where you wouldn't be getting it? Like if it was outside of the net and you could somehow deflect it just inside the post or something like that, then we could look at a pretty decent combo in. Well, let me see what the defense is like. See, between using two-way forward and grinder, two-way forward's still better. Or I'm able to hit these deflections with 80 hand-eye without big tipper, you know? But it's like, okay, if I went really high with it, if I lose the shot block, I mean, even at it like just 85, 86 is still decent. But this ain't as strong because I would lower the hand-eye on the two-way forward so I can gain more strength. I just don't have that here. But like, is this too much? Is it oversaturating what you're trying to actually accomplish? Where if we got rid of this stuff, it would still be accomplishing the same task. You see what I'm saying? Like, does this increase the effectiveness of it, or is it just something that's just oversaturated at that point? This wouldn't be a fun build by any means, right? But having 92 speed, holy. So to utilize this build at center, you would have to be decent at defense still. This is a little bit weaker than the two-way forward. But it's still, you know, it's still effective. It's not like it's not, you know, it's not, make it seem like it's not. But if I go back to the two-way forward again, this is able to get that 87. I mean, that's just a couple points. You're not losing much. And then you see 80, but you get 89 strength here because of what I put it as. And I get unstoppable force, and I get no contest. So I'm accomplishing a lot. Like, here's the thing, right? Is there a point to using the grinder if I can still deflect the puck the same way, but be this much effective, this much more effective than the actual grinder itself? When I looked at this and I looked at the grinder and I was noticing that there's a lot of deflections in this game without utilizing big tipper, in my mind, I immediately thought grinder is completely useless. But like, to have big tipper, don't necessarily need total eclipse, then you could switch that to, what you would have to do is move this up. So you could get elite edges still. It's not like you're not losing it, you know? But now no contest is the actually start of this. And then you got total eclipse here. So you could do that. Big tipper as like a superstar. So you could flip it. Or you can use this as like you won't be able to get unstoppable force because you'd have to apply. You couldn't. I mean, you could. Let's see here. If we went like that, okay, so you can't because no, you'd have to lose out. Well, you could lose out on past timing. Screw that, right? But you could go like something like that, and now you've got that. Okay, well, you're not that much different than the two-way forward now. You're kind of strong, but you're not as strong as it with the strength. So you'd have to lose out and perhaps even more hand-eye to get the strength up, which you could do that if you really wanted to. So now we're not that much different, are we? You could go with something like that. So again, you're a little bit weaker in certain areas, but you buff up the big tipper, and you're a little bit faster. It's still, the question could be said, is it really worth it? Here's where this class would actually become effective again, is if they nerfed the ability to deflect the puck so easily in this game. Like, the fact that they buffed off it so much, I feel like eliminates the grinder class at this current status. If they make a tuner update and they start to nerf some of these offensive things, they start nerfing the ability to deflect unless you have something like big tipper, then the grinder class starts to become its own. But if not, then you just go with two-way forward. I feel like there's no reason to use it. Even then, right? You could lose out on this and go with speed here. So actually, it's not faster. It's the same. I didn't realize I didn't have it. So you're actually the same strength and everything. It's just this has better defense and it's got better defense. That's honestly it. There's really nothing else. Right, the grinder class does compare to it. Oh, I don't really think I need the speed though applied. Like, I do like having the 90 strength. I just feel like having that type of because then it really compares to the power forward. But it's just faster, you know, like you know what I mean. What's your opinion on Excel this year compared to last? Yeah, I think it's the same. I don't think like last year I was literally constant flipping my mind with how with it being effective versus it not. In reality, I believe it was never effective, and that trend still applies to this year. So I think having it down and more points into these other categories is just best. It wasn't like taking that extra stride to get to top speed, which is what the acceleration would be doing if it actually mattered. Instead of it being like 2 strides you're at, or 2 or 3 strides you're at max, it would be like 5, 6 strides you're at max. If it was a 10-point gap, you would think it'd have that much of an effect if it were to matter. But if it, you really can't even see it, it's not effective at all. It don't matter at all. So yeah, I think you know, these builds are bound to change from time to time. This being the only thing I don't have actually fixed. This would be the combo. I mean, this is a pretty solid combo. It's just get rid of one of these if you want to be more defensive, but you could still play D. Like the whole point of these builds is try to think of it from the defensive standpoint. If you're covered in your defensive end, if you feel like whatever you have applied works, then whatever's left could be applied to offense. That's what I did last year. Yeah, I just want to end on that, you know, just kind of go through my mindset with builds and stuff and what I'm looking at.